Hi everyone, I'm Rennie Mollett, mixed media artist. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I've decided to share sort of a struggle that I had with the particular piece that was part of a 7-piece series that I did for a show in the spring. And just to demonstrate that sometimes this struggle is real. And while I move through the rest of the pieces of this series relatively easily, this piece was giving me a run for my money. So I started off with one sort of idea and I really didn't like how that was working out. And so I sort of shifted into another idea and used different media. And while I don't love the final piece, I'm happy with how it turned out, and that's what's important. So I just wanted to share, the fact that, it's not always super easy to create for artists, and sometimes we are really challenged, but just that it's important not to give up on a piece that we're working on, that we can always come back to it and rework it, and that there's always the possibility to fix or redo or whatever it is, right? So without further ado, here's my process video for this piece. I always welcome your feedback, your comments, and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. So this is how the piece started out. This is a wood panel, and I've already glued down some gel prints to create the background. And then I've already glued here the vase for the flowers, and I was really expecting the whole piece to be sort of a collage piece, but that sort of changed along the way. So here I'm sort of playing around with different I guess set up, and then starting to glue down the flowers. These are meant to feel like anemones, those beautiful white anemones with the dark blue centers. And then the flowers were cut out from gel prints as well, and I'm just giving them a little bit more depth. Playing around with the background, adding some tone, some depth, some contrast, and highlighting some of the leaves. And then here I started to darken the background. Because of the fact that the flowers were white, I thought that might be, but then I really didn't like it. So here you can see me sort of rubbing away and going back over with a color that's similar to the gel print background color. So here you could even see that I'm sort of hesitating because I'm not quite sure what I want to do with these flowers, how I want to embellish them. And so I started playing around a little bit with shadowing and adding a little bit more sort of details for the petals. So just speeding up some of the process here because otherwise this would be a really long video. So these flowers are sort of evolving from being simple collage flowers to full-on painted flowers. I I think I wanted to do sort of a combination of the two, but then that sort of got lost in the process. I think there's a little bit of gaps in between. Maybe I've left out certain things that I was trying with the flowers. And at this point, I decided to start over. Just painting just completely painting over them. And it's so funny because, sometimes I'll feel like sort of frozen and like, oh, should I do that? I'm sure I'm not alone. But it just sort of felt like the right thing to do at this point, to start again, because I really didn't like the flowers at that point. I wanted to pull in another color here to make them a little bit more interesting, even though they're white. So taking from the tabletop color in the piece. And I thought I'd bring some of that in. Sometimes I kind of felt like I was in limbo between painting from a felt place to painting from a reference image. I think at this point I was starting to feel a little bit better about where these flowers were going. I think typically, in my flower paintings, I probably wouldn't have worked the flowers as much as I have, but in this particular piece, for whatever reason, things kept changing. Starting to work the values a little bit more here, getting some more contrast in there. I think over the years also with different pieces, I've struggled with not wanting to be too realistic in my painting. Just that desire to be looser. And I've done some pretty funny things to help me get looser. Anything from wearing glasses that I didn't need to so that everything was a little blurrier, to adding chopsticks to the ends of my paint brushes to try and encourage me to loosen up. Coming in with some highlights at this point. And these types of anemones have these lovely dark centers. And then at some point I started shifting between painting and using, I think I was using the Caran d'Ache, or was I? Maybe the Inktense watercolor pencils, and I think I was using Posca pens, and finally happy with the results, getting that last coating of varnish on, which is always satisfying. So like I said, it was quite challenging at times working this piece, but happy with the final result of it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment or ask any questions. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching.